Jim Montgomery, he said, a number of leading missiologists are saying that the most direct way to complete the Great Commission is to fill the earth, rural areas, cities, countries, regions, and people groups with evangelical congregations. And so Wagner says again, he's written numerous books. And in one of the commentaries he writes, because he did a commentary on Acts, the book of Acts, and he says this, he says, the most concrete, lasting form of ministry in Acts is church planting. Preaching the gospel, healing the sick, casting out demons, suffering persecution, holding church councils, and multiple other activities of the apostles and other Christians that unfold before us have as their goal multiplying Christian churches throughout the known world. He goes on to say, he says, part of Paul's influence in the new churches was undoubtedly new churches in every neighborhood. No missiological principle, no mission principle is more important than saturation church planting. Ralph Winter says, and he's the person who discovered and popularized the whole thought of people groups that we hear about and around the world. And Dr. Ralph Winter says this, the extensive activity of starting new congregations, the care and feeding of new congregations, is to me the central strategic activity to which all evangelistic methods must be bent. Note what he's saying. He says it's the central strategic activity to which all evangelistic methods must be bent. Very powerful statement that he says there. And let me just sum it up with Wagner's quote. He says, I'm convinced that the best long-term evangelistic method under heaven is the planting of new churches. Denniston expresses it this way, I'm convinced that saturation church planting is the single most important goal we can achieve in bringing about the completion of the Great Commission in this generation. So your generation, the people group that you're working in and the people groups that you're working in, it's the best way to reach those peoples is to plant new churches. Now, it's not quick. I'm not saying it's quick. I'm not saying it's easy. I believe it's simpler and I believe it's uncomplicated. And so, but it can be tough. And because we live in a culture that we just love the instant, the quick, we want it straight away, microwave and wave a sort of a hand over the congregation and we've got thousands of people coming to Christ. No. When we're talking church planting, we're thinking of the next generation. When we're talking church planting, we're thinking of being in a community for years. And we're not thinking of a church, remember. We're thinking of churches, planting churches, planting churches. Every church that is on the face of the planet, every church that is in New Zealand and Fiji and Australia and in the Pacific area, every church has been planted by somebody or some group of people. And so your church has been planted by somebody. So don't stop with just planting your church. How about we plant churches that plant churches that plant churches? So let me just sum it up again. The best long-term evangelistic method is planting churches that plant churches.